On the economy, your record's been outstanding. We've seen middle income growth, the middle class, in other words, for liberals are having a tough time with this, with their economic conspiracy theories. Middle class income growth has surged, far
Right.
surpassed Obama. The data is clear. GDP growth has far surpassed Obama. Median middle income is up $5,000 in just 3 years
Right.
of your presidency. It was only up $1,000 after 8 years of Obama and the failed recovery. So my question is this, given 2020 is around the corner, is there another tax cut in the offing, or are we looking at that? And where do you stand on capital gains indexing? I know there's been some back and forth on that.
If we get back the House, we're going to do a very big middle. We've already done one, a very big. We did pass the largest tax cut in the history of the country, bigger than Ronald Reagan's tax cut. But if we get back the House, we have to have the House. Otherwise, you can't get anything through Pelosi. For one thing, she doesn't work. She doesn't do anything. She can't even get the USMCA bill passed, okay? And every Democrat wants it. The Democrats, the Republicans, it's on her desk for 3 months. And she hasn't done anything on it. She can't get that. She's too interested in impeachment, although she looks very bad right now. I was going to say before, she was very angry when she read my phone call. She was given false information when she started this whole impeachment thing, and she is not happy about it right now because she's getting hammered. The economy is doing phenomenally well. We're going to, and that's despite the fact that we have a Federal Reserve, don't forget, that has interest rates that are too high. And Obama had zero interest rates. So we're much higher. He was at 9.75 for 8 years. We're at 5,000, but when you add the tax benefit, it's 2,500. And then you add the regulation benefit, because I've gotten rid of more regulations than any president in history by far. Even if they were there for 8 years or in one case more, we've gotten more than any other president. When you add that, that's another $2,000 now. So we're actually around $10,000 as opposed to 975, and our 10,000 is for 2.5 years, a little more than 2.5 years. That's a big difference. And for President Bush, it was $400 for 8 years.
Is there any chance of resurrecting the indexing and capital gains, the inflation tax?
Well, a lot of people like indexing, and it's a short-term boost, but it makes life very, very complicated for people. You have to go out and get appraisers every time you do something, every time you breathe. A lot of people do like it. A lot of Republicans like it. It is a complex process for people. It's very difficult. It's something we're looking at. It's a tremendous initial boost. I could do something that would be pretty amazing but I want to do the right thing. We are looking at it as a possibility. It has its tremendous assets and it's got some liabilities, Dan.
Understood. Mr. President, you eliminated the disastrous individual mandate for Obamacare, which was excellent. Any talk after 2020, if there is hopefully a successful reelect, of eliminating the other provisions of Obamacare, community rating, guaranteed issue, and maybe replacing them with more market-friendly solutions, health savings accounts, income support for low-income folks? There's still, unfortunately, some remnants of Obamacare left that are distorting.
Well, what we've done by getting rid of the individual mandate, that's where you pay not to have insurance. I mean, you pay a lot of money for the privilege of not having to overpay for insurance. It's a very... It was the worst provision in Obamacare. It was totally unconstitutional, but it escaped that. It escaped it. And one of those things. But we got rid of the most important aspect of Obamacare. And frankly, if John McCain had raised his hand, Obamacare would be gone. What we have done in that very famous vote after campaigning for 8 years to get rid of Obamacare, remember, repeal and replace was his campaign. And then when he finally had a chance to repeal and replace at 2 o'clock in the morning, he says, thumbs down, but that's okay. It may work out just as well because we got rid of the individual mandate, which is such a big deal. It's really the essence of Obamacare. And then we've done something. I had a choice. Run it really well and do that, knowing that some of the benefit inures to Obama, and that's the right thing to do, or run it really badly and have people go crazy about how bad Obamacare is. And Secretary Azar and SEMA and all his people over there have done an unbelievable job of running it. And we've made it okay. We've made it acceptable. It's horrible, by the way, but we've made it very acceptable. Sometimes you'll hear people say, it's not bad. That's because of getting rid of the individual mandate. Somebody said, call it Trump Care, fix it up a little bit more and do it. But what we're going to do is, because we've really done a good job of management of it, it's a disaster. But what we're going to do is, if we get the House back, we are going to have a much better version of Obamacare that's cheaper and, just a much better version, but also much less expensive.